India's newest equity exchange MCX-SX, just 10 months old, has seen its share of controversies and challenges, particularly what was happening with its parent company FTIL and MCX and its involvement in the NSCL scam. Market regulator Sebi did supersede the board of MCX-SX to ensure and ring-fence MCX-SX from any of the controversies in its parent company. Where does the exchange go from here? What are the challenges and what is the way forward? To discuss all that and much more in detail, we have with us none other than the Vice Chairman of MCX-SX, Mr. Thomas Mathew. Mr. Mathew, firstly, thanks for sparing this time.
Welcome. Yes.
You and the other nominees of the MCX-SX board has taken over the reins of MCX-SX during very challenging times. To begin with, if I could ask you, what are the three biggest challenges that you faced after taking over the reins here, and where does the thing stand as of now?
Yes, it's a very challenging time, and really we have taken up a challenging assignment. But today, as we look at the whole MCX-SX, the greatest three challenges, if I say, are: one, to restore and retrieve the confidence of all the stakeholders, its members, its investors, institution shareholders, and its employees. Number two would be to build and generate a sustainable business volumes. And number three challenge would be to improve our balance sheet by infusion of capital, by improvement of revenue, and also by cutting of costs. The new board taken over recently, that is by the public interest directors appointed by the Sebi, have taken stock of the situation. We are working very hard to see that these challenges are faced with time-bound action plan. Today, as you said, the MCX-SX stock exchange is ring-fenced, and we are governed by a totally independent board. It has no shareholding linkage or no transactions with NSCL. It is totally ring-fenced.
But Mr. Mathew, if I could ask you, when you say you have to reduce the cost, increase the revenues, the volumes have taken a hit to the extent of 44% just in the month of November if we compare what was the numbers in the month of October. The problem here is these are the same lot of brokers who have also in more than one sense somewhere got stuck in the NSCL scam. How would they have any sort of confidence, or why should they trade in MCX-SX at this point of time?
This is a very interesting point. In fact, you are right in saying that the volumes have fallen down. The volumes have drastically fallen down. But we believe that it is due to a sentimental effect. Basically, the fundamentals of this exchange is very strong, as we have studied. The technology is world class. We have the best servicing standards. Audit by CAG has been done 4 years continuously. Sebi has done stringent inspection and renewed our license recently. We have our internal audit and inspection. We have systems audit. In all these exercises, we have got a clean report and clean sheet. But then the fall in the volumes have to be addressed. Now, in order to improve the volumes, we are in an awareness campaign and meeting the brokers. We had a meeting with the leading brokers of Mumbai. We are meeting the institutions. We have met recently, our chairman, Mr. Pillai, and myself have met the leading institutions of Mumbai. We are also contacting the members and the shareholders and the investors to give that confidence and comfort level so that the business can come back and improve.
A very important aspect, as you mentioned, Mr. Mathew, when you speak to the brokers or the trading community at large, the one issue which everyone is confronting or still have the fear is on the issue of the software, the technology platform which MCX-SX takes from its parent company FT. Now, the question here is the source code still remains with FT. Anything that the board is doing to ensure that this particular issue is taken care of, the ring fencing is happening when it comes to the software being used at MCX-SX?
When you mention about technology, as I told earlier, technology today of MCX-SX is one of the best available. In fact, we were the first to roll out an uninterrupted trading in the country, and also MCX-SX could override that sun outage problem in the country. We were the first to do it. We are ISO certified, so there is no issue about the technology. Now, whatever concerned about the technology being supplied by the FTIL and the agreements, the new board has taken cognizance of that, and we have started discussions and negotiations to see that this problem is overcome.
Which means the agreement between MCX-SX and FT as a software supplier would be redone, the whole agreement would be renegotiated, also because there have been issues of royalty which have been raised.
We have started studying and negotiations have begun, and we are hopeful that in the interest of the stakeholders, we will be able to find a good solution to this problem.
So, from the business perspective, anything that the board, yes, I know there is no full-time CEO at this point of time, we should come to know about that very soon, that is what everyone is expecting, but any special schemes that we would see MCX-SX coming out with to attract brokers, to enhance the volumes, anything that is being done on the business part, because whatever primarily has been happening after the board took over was to ensure that the crisis is doused, but anything that you are planning to ensure that the business moves ahead?
I must say that the crisis is over, and we are in contact with the market to retrieve the confidence. Today, we are trading in all the 4 segments. We are in currency derivatives, equity derivatives, equity capital markets, and in debt segment also. We are planning to come out with new products also, and I think very soon we will be able to file some very attractive products with the Sebi for their approval. In fact, we have been in touch with the brokers and the business community to get their feedback to ascertain what kind of good products will attract them in the coming days. So, that effort also is going on. And you mentioned about the CEO. I must also say that one of the immediate tasks on hand for the new board was to identify and select a new MD CEO. We called for the applications, and surprisingly 153 applicants came up, very well qualified people, which means that the market and very qualified people see a lot of future and value in this exchange. We have completed the interview and shortlisted people. In a couple of weeks or so, we are hopeful that we will be able to come out with the new CEO's appointment.
Mr. Mathew, as you said, you and Mr. G.K. Pillai are reaching out to the brokers or the trading community at large. What is the general feedback, or what is, let's say, 1, 2, 3 things that the brokers or the trading community wants the new board to do, which was, say, not done earlier, or they want that it should change?
The reaching out to the brokers and the business community by our chairman, Mr. G.K. Pillai, as you know, he is a man of great eminence, our Home Secretary earlier, and a senior, very senior IAS officer, and by our other board members also on the board. We have Dr. Professor Ashima Goyal, we have Mr. D.R. Dogra and others. So, the new board is reaching out to the brokers and the business community, and in the interaction with them, we are happy to find that they also tell us, we know that there is nothing wrong with MCX-SX, and we know that the confidence is coming back to the exchange, and they know that the future of this exchange and its business volumes will improve. What they want is, as you mentioned, a relook at the technology, which I told you we have started doing. The service is quite good. They wanted some new products to come out. We have taken their feedback and almost finalized for filing of new products. So, these are some of the things which they wanted we are addressing.
So, with your kind of experience from the place that you come from, LIC, what is the time frame that you or the whole board would have set for yourself? Say, this is the time frame, next 3 months, 6 months, we see the volumes getting back in MCX-SX?
In fact, today with the fall, drastic fall I must say, in the volumes, we do not have much time like 1 year, 2 years, etc. So, the new board and the entire employees, in fact, we have an excellent team of people in the exchange, very professional people, heads of departments and other employees, all are working together to see that the business volumes improve as early as possible. So, our people, the business development team, the membership team and other employees are in touch with brokers and the business community to ensure that the business picks up as early as possible. I am hopeful that I must say that the dip in the business volumes have been arrested during the current month, and from here onwards it will be a northward journey.
So, the worst is over, yes.
The worst is over, and within 6 months of time we are very hopeful that we will be able to show a very good improvement in business and other related areas.
Mr. Mathew, the other important aspect that I would like to touch upon is when Sebi gave the renewal to MCX-SX, it was very clear that they have to also fulfill a condition where the promoters will have to divest 2.5% each, that is FT and MCX in MCX-SX. Yeah. As per the regulations, the first tranche has to be diverted in 18 months time from the date of issual of the license to MCX-SX, which, if I am right, is just a month away. On January 18th is when that 18 months gets over. Is that going to be a challenging task for the board? Because Sebi is very closely watching what happens to that.
Sebi, as we discussed earlier, has renewed our license for our operations just in this month of September, after going through all our books and a rigorous inspection. Yes, the bringing down of 10% to 5% by the promoters was one of the conditions. We have written on our part to both the promoters to comply with this requirement, and we are hopeful that will take place.
But they have not come back with any concrete proposal or any roadmap?
Not to us, not to us. They must be examining that, and they must be taking action for that. Anyway, on our part, we have already written to them.
So, the other important aspect in the license renewal, also in the last paragraph, Sebi has clearly mentioned that the exchange license would be under threat, assuming that if there is any order passed when it comes to the fit and proper criteria of the promoters. So, is that going to be another worry, because that order is just round the corner from FMC, or do you think that will not have any impact on the way MCX-SX functions?
As I mentioned, MCX-SX is totally ring fenced, and we are totally out of any linkage or shareholding from NSCL. The question of fit and proper, on that I have nothing to comment. You said it's just round the corner, let's wait and see. Our effort today is to see that our shareholders get good value. 90% of the stakeholding of the MCX-SX is by the public institutions. 67% is held by public sector banks, and the rest by leading private banks and other leading financial institutions of the country. So, as far as our MCX-SX is concerned, we are hopeful that things will be good and there will be good value created for the stakeholders in future.
Mr. Mathew, when you say that capital infusion is another requirement for the exchange at this point of time, with majority being held by public sector banks and other institutions, what is the way out or what is the option for the board when it comes to raising funds?
The board is examining this very important critical issue. Capital infusion at the present rate is required immediately too. We are examining the options of rights or getting a strategic investor to put in money. So, there are a few options which the board is examining, and very soon we will be able to.
Although, as you say, it's still under consideration, not I can't ask you for the much details, but broadly, what would be the type of, or how much would be the infusion, what range is that the exchange would need at this point of time, or what is the dilution that you would look at for getting in a strategic investor?
As I told you, the two options mainly which we are examining, one is of rights and one is of the strategic investor. If it is rights, it might be 1:1, and depending on the valuation, we have to arrive at the price also. Well, at this rate, what the strategic partner or through rights, what we would require an infusion of at least 300 to 500 crores immediately in the coming.
And we could see a decision how soon on this?
Within 1 month, I think we will be able to take a concrete decision on that.
Mr. Mathew, finally, if I could ask you 3 things that say from between now as we speak and March end before this fiscal comes to an end, 3 things that a target has been set by the board, or 3 things that we could see differently in MCX-SX?
Well, 3 things you would find is first, restoring of the customer confidence, which is very critical and for which we are working very hard. We are in contact with the brokers, the institutions and the market. That will be one very important change we would like to see. Secondly, improving our balance sheet, drastic cutting down in the cost, which we have in detail analyzed, and in every phase we are trying to cut down cost drastically to work on very, very thin. And another thing would be this capital infusion step, and also improvement on the business volumes, the trading. Well, with the kind of improvement in the morale among our employees and the good feedback which we are getting from the market and the excellent support we are getting from the regulator also, we are very hopeful that this MCX-SX stock exchange has a great future in this country. In fact, today this is a very exciting business we are in. In Indian capital market, the breadth and the depth is very shallow and narrow. As you know, only very limited percentage, maybe 1.3% of the retail investment is coming to the capital market, despite a very huge percentage of domestic savings when we compare with the other countries. So there is huge potential. We are very hopeful with the full involvement of our people of the exchange and the support of the market, and with the hard work and persistence and perseverance we are putting in, we are very hopeful that there will be good things which you will see in the near future for the exchange.
Mr. Mathew, once again, thanks a lot for spending this time and talking during this challenging time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.